Why all the chaos? Why all the fuss? Why all the work that can lead you to cuss? Why all the stress, the pressure, the strain? Why all the tension, the trauma, the pain? Why do we do it? What's going on? Why do we hustle from hither to yon? Why do we bake all the cookies and breads? Why do we do it? If you know, go ahead, tell me the reason, the wherefore, the why. Tell me as you gobble your hot mincemeat pie. Why do we argue over turkey or ham? Why do we do it? I'm serious, I am. Why the obsession with eating and feasting? Who will eat mosting and who will eat leasting? Why all the lights, the candles, the twinkle? Why all the glare that would make Rip Van Winkle awaken from slumber and dreams most profound just to trip over spotlights rammed down in the ground? Why all the roping, the wreaths and the trees? Why all the bows and the bangles and beads? Why do we do it? Why all this fuss? Tell me, I promise it's just between us. Why all the spending, the shopping, the charges? Why all the smiling while our debt load enlarges? Why all the buying till we're past overdrawn and buried in boxes from old Amazon? Why all the candies, the sweets and the treats? Why all the caramels and chocolates repeat with sugar enough to raise teeth up on edge and ramp up the kids till we hide in the hedge? Now, lest you think old Santa's gone Grinch, because I've noticed a few of you starting to flinch, I now have a theory, a hunch, and a guess of just how and why we are all in this mess. For the whys and the wherefores, you have to go back, way back before Christmas got all out of whack. You have to go back before good girls and boys were asking the fat man for all of their toys. You have to go back before trees were cut down and dragged from the country to the middle of town. You have to go back before turkeys or ham, way back before Christmas became a log jam. Go back to a time long forgot, when the question of why mattered more than the what. 2,000 years, give or take a few days. Go back to a time lost in history's thick haze. Go back to a moment that was most unexpected, when heaven and earth were quite disconnected. The witness of history is that no matter what, the people of earth are given to strut their accomplishments, feats, and their own self-importance, while the ways of our God seem nothing but sortance. Back when the people had forgotten God's way. Back when the people thought God held no sway. Back when with justice and fairness abandoned, the ways of corruption and bias expanded. Back when, what one called the fullness of time, God continued to ring out God's eternal rhyme. A song of new love for the earth and its folk. A song of new freedom from life's heavy yoke. A song of new hope when despair had o'erclouded. A song of new joy when earth's people, confounded by years upon years of deep harshness and pain, were looking once more for God's love to reign. How would God do it? How would God let them see the the way God intended things always to be. A warrior with armies to quash the oppressors, a king on a throne with a line of successors, a spellbinding speaker who opinions could sway, or a sure hellfire preacher to proclaim a doomsday. What God did was so stunning, so simple, so wise. God offered the world the greatest surprise, a child of two peasants, so humble and lowly, just to see him, you knew you were seeing the holy. God came among us in the gift of a child, not powered and privileged, but so meek and mild that when he was born on that first Christmas day, there was no place to lay him but a mound of sweet hay. A gift sent from God to the world and its people should set bells ringing in each tower and steeple, for God did something God did not have to do. God gave us a gift from quite out of the blue. This child in the manger, this infant of promise, could not be pretentious or hollow or pompous. This child was instead quite authentic and real, and offered a way for God's people to heal. And we, undeserving and quite rightly dismissed, could never be worthy of God's wondrous gift. But here we all are to proclaim once again that God from high heaven to us did descend to show us and teach us what God had in mind that day God created and brought forth humankind. So why all the chaos? Why all the fuss? Why all that work that can lead you to cuss? It's our simple attempt to reflect, in a way, the gift of our God, asleep on the hay. A vainglorious attempt to correct the equation of that wondrous gift we call incarnation. Our buying and baking, our singing and ringing, our trees and the tinsel and lights all a-stringing is our poor attempt, a most weak imitation, to reflect in some way God's gift to all nations. For by sharing our love with the ones we love most, we reflect God's own love, though we never come close. So why all the chaos? Why all the fuss? I've shared my ideals. Now go home and discuss what God in God's gifting has given to us, and enjoy all you've done that has raised such a fuss. And now we are finished. And as you see most clearly, I've got a date with a sleigh and reindeerly. So I'll wish you glad Christmas, and once more I'll implore, celebrate all that our God has in store. For this child that we welcome flings wide the door to the wonder of now and forevermore.